You've asked for it, and right here, the YouTuber who cares is delivering. Hey there, I'm Jeff, the RadioDJ Dude, and a lot of you have asked me to kind of go back to basics, dive into some of the more simple functions and features that the RadioDJ software has to offer. And heck yeah, I'm about to do that, and maybe even a little more. I'll throw in some ticks and tricks. The ticks are free, but if you want the tips, that may cost you a little extra. Well, I'll give it to you all. Ticks, tips, and tricks are all coming up as we tackle the tantalizing idea of RadioDJ's Teaser Plugin. A lot of people want to throw this in the mix, but the big question, should you? Before we dive into the muck and get your hands dirty with this Teaser Plugin, let me first tease you with how this thing sounds.
More totally rad 80s music coming up. Triple X 80s.
That's not bad, but full disclosure, it took about 10 tries to get it to that point. So take my hand and join me in this messy journey as we find out the very best way to get the most out of this teaser plugin. And for you, my friend, there's just 5 not so easy steps. First up, we have to download and import the free teaser sound elements from RadioDJ site. And once we have them downloaded, let's bring those suckers into RadioDJ. Big radio props to Roderick. He did a great tutorial on how to use this teaser plugin. I definitely invite you to check his video out too. One thing he did, which I definitely encourage, is to create some new categories for these teaser elements. So a master category would be teaser. After you create that teaser category, it's smart to create 3 subcategories: teaser intro, teaser outro, and teaser transition. And soon I'll answer all the whys that you need to do that. For the first half of this 101 tutorial, we're going to work with those freebie elements that you downloaded from RadioDJ's site. Then later on, we'll kick it up a notch, and I'll show you the benefit of creating your own, and how you can get a big boost in production value. But first, let's import those freebies. So do you remember where you put them? So we had a couple ins. So we want to make sure the category is teaser, and we set the subcategory to teaser intro. It's interesting, this teaser intro already has a next start cue point. Okay, save it. Next up, let's grab an outro. Okay, I gotta switch the subcategory to teaser outro. And that looks good. Let's check out this cue data.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I want to move the next start cue point up a little because I wanted to fire the song off a little faster. Now we have those transitions, which you'll hear in between the hooks. So we change a subcategory for teaser transition. Other. Let's check out the cue editor here.
More next.
Now definitely need to move the next start point.
More next.
Okay, import that one. As thrilling as it is to watch me import files, let's move on to step number 2. And to prevent a bunch of, hey, why isn't it working for me comments, you got to first engage the teaser plugin. And you got to bring it to life by dragging it from the disabled plugins folder over to the active plugins folder. When I'm going to do this, I just copy those plugins, come back to plugins, and paste them on over. There the suckers are. Step number 3. Let's dial in those settings for the teaser plugin. So remember when we imported all the teaser element sound parts? So this is where we patch them in. So your intro is teaser category and subcategory intro. And those transitions are under teaser transitions. Oh, it's coming together beautifully. And then the outro subcategory is where we hook up the endings. So here you have to figure out how many number of songs do you want this teaser plugin to promote. And just to give you a full sense of the sound, we'll leave it at 5. So the dealio was shuffle teaser tracks. If you click it, it'll randomize the order of the hooks based on where the songs are in your playlist. If you leave it unchecked, it'll play the hooks in the order of your songs as they appear in your playlist. Okay, settings complete. Step 4, and I really should have got a booze sponsor for step 4 because you're going to need a ton of liquid courage to get through this. Now, early on, if you patted yourself on the back for being such a good little broadcaster by importing every song and adding start and intro and next start and end cue points to every track, well, you had no idea the amount of pain that was waiting for you to implement this teaser element. Because if you didn't also drop in your hook in and hook out points to every song, that's what you, my friend, have to look forward to. God, I hope you have a lot of whiskey on hand. This is going to be painful. And it's not as easy as dropping, an endpoint. This is a laborious process of having to randomly move the hook endpoint, looking for just the right moment, the hook, a short clip of the chorus. But the waveform doesn't give you any ideas of where that happens, so you are looking for needles in musical haystacks here. It's just a lot of randomness. You move the hook endpoint, you hit play. Nope, it's not there. You keep looking for... That didn't sound too bad. Let's just nudge it up. You see what I did while that was playing? I switched over to hook out and I hit the add selected marker button when I heard the end of the cue. So we have a hook in and hook out. But for my taste, even that hook's too long. One of my biggest beefs with the execution of the teaser plugin, most people select hooks that are too damn long. You're only piquing people's curiosity. You don't need to play them half of the song. If it's their favorite song, they'll know within the first, 3 notes. Get your musical machete out and trim your hooks down. 4 seconds is the max. Your listeners will thank you. God, why am I so bitter? Okay, we didn't even set a timer, but you saw how long it took me doping around with just that one song. Times that by, 2,438 songs. Like Shaka Khan says, I feel for you. Let's try to find a hook buried under the waveform here. So I don't get flagged by the copyright police, I have to mute this section, but let's speed it up and eventually put a timer on the screen to find out how long it takes me to find a suitable hook for Shaka Khan. Right there, that much time. That feels a little short just doing I Feel For You, but we could take it back. There's that cool little music breakdown. Now that's only 2 seconds. I'm going to run with that. So 3 weeks later, you've finished dropping all your hook points. Now you're ready for the next step of the teaser plugin process. Step number 5, the glorious moment where we throw the teaser plugin into play and see how this crazy thing sounds. And one way to do this is to create an event. Create a brand new event. Let's just call this teaser. I'm going to put an A in front of it so it will show up right on the top of my manual events section. So this will be manual event. You want to add an event action and come all the way down to the bottom for plugin actions. And at the bottom of this list, you will see teaser plugin, and we're going to generate playlist preview for current playlist. Okay, let's add that action, add the event, bingo bango, we're in business. Come over for manual events, and right there you'll see a teaser. But if we try to launch this right now, whammo, nothing. What? RadioDJ Dude, you suck. Well, that might be open for debate, but no, you have to have songs in your queue. What this teaser plugin is doing, it's looking ahead in your current queue to see what songs are lined up. And then, and only then, will it and can it play hooks for those songs if you've set the hook in and out points. Let's say you have 5 songs in your queue, but only 3 of them have hook points. Well, it'll only play those songs. Okay, 5 songs in your queue, none of them have cue points. Well, the teaser plugin will not play. This is an incredibly time-consuming production element to pull off. I mean, sure, there's the hours and potentially days of dropping the hook cue points on all your songs. And then at the end of it all, you really have to ask for really any decision you make as it pertains to your radio station is, what is best for the listener. If the listener is tuning in to hear music, like full-length songs, and you're interrupting that flow by hitting them with a teaser that maybe could last a minute. I mean, let's break it down. As I often hear, these hooks that just go on forever. They're 10 to 12 seconds each. So if you have 5 of those in your teaser with an open and closing teaser element and all those transition sound effects, now potentially you're interrupting the flow of music while your listeners are tuning in for maybe a minute or longer, just for this little teaser plugin. So really the word of the day here, the only thing I want you to take away is tight. If you could produce a tight teaser with great momentum that moves bam, 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 but then get your listeners back to the music, why they're tuning in the first place, then yes, only then should you consider adding it to your station. In a second, I'll show you how to embed this in a rotation, but for now, let's just hand create our playlist, because my library on the most totally rad all 80s internet radio station, Triple X 80s, doesn't have hook points for every song. But just for you, my sweet broadcasting buddies and budettes, I did throw in some hook points just for this tutorial. Damn it, I'm the YouTuber who cares. So one of them is Girls Just Want to Have Fun, so we'll bring that in. So here's our playlist. Now this isn't realistic to my station. I run a lot of production elements between my songs, sweepers, liners, jingles, and that can affect the flow of this teaser plugin based on how many items you allow in your playlist queue. You know, in a normal rotation, if I have a song, a jingle, a song, a sweeper, a song, I'm not going to have 5 songs in a 5-position queue list. If you come over to your playlist plugin, you'll see how many slots. Right now I have 5 slots. But let's say in a normal rotation, I have an element between every song. That means to get the teaser plugin to play 5 hooks, I have to bump this up to 10 slots. So it'll have 5 songs to look ahead to. Increasing the slots number is one part of the equation. But if you run your station using rotations and auto DJ, there's one other thing you have to do. Because if you don't increase this keep in playlist value, well, you could say you want to have 23 slots in the playlist plugin. It's not going to make a difference if you don't match this setting to the other one. So let's say we want 10 items in a playlist. Well, now we're in business when we bring a rotation in, and that's key. I don't want to complicate things too much, or do I? But I want this to be a pretty real-world approach, so I'm going to put in a jingle between each song so you have an idea how this really works. Okay, so now we have 9 of our slots filled up. So we give the teaser event a click and looky. Let's dissect this baby. We have the intro. We have our Cyndi Lauper hook. We have a teaser transition. Aha, another teaser transition. Bryan Adams, Bon Jovi, all the way down to the teaser outro. Okay? That looks good. And if you think you can handle the teaser truth, well, let's go.
Blast it!
Coming up next. More next. Don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. On the way. On the way. More next. Don't go anywhere.
So if I had never heard about the teaser plugin and someone said, hey, check this out, and I heard that, I'd jam over to my desktop, I'd look for the RadioDJ folder, I'd open up plugins, I'd search for that teaser plugin, I'd highlight it, and without wasting a second, I'd hit delete, because that was an absolute audio monstrosity. What a train wreck. You'd never hear that on Triple X 80s. Sorry, but that's just me. Those transition elements are way too long. You don't have to say coming up after each song. It's already established at the intro that these are songs that are coming up. So by saying coming up, you're slowing this thing down. We want to keep the train rolling. So I want to present to you another possibility that honestly, I haven't heard yet. Before I jumped into the tutorial, I did create some of my own custom teaser production elements. So let's blow out the prefab ones, load in the new, and let's respin this, okay? And I don't mean to be an ungrateful prick, because I think it's really generous that we have access to these free effects that are produced by Mike Russell, who does great work. I'm a big fan of Mike Russell's YouTube channel. I've gotten a lot of inspiration. He does great stuff about audio processing, and I definitely encourage you to check out his channel. But since your station is your unique audio fingerprint online, it's up to you to make it stand out with uniqueness and creativity. And that means producing your own custom teaser elements. You don't want to sound like every other radio DJ broadcaster who just grabbed these free teaser sound elements from the website. And they don't have to be super flashy. Sometimes simple is good enough. And this will be teaser intro.
More totally rad 80s music coming up.
Okay, so right on the coming up, that's where I want the first hook to start. That's right on the puh. It's probably good. Okay, good. Save that. I'll bring in the rest of the elements and I'll meet you back on the playlist. Okay, you ready for take 2 of this teaser? Load it up. So now you see all my elements. Now who knows? There's no guarantee this will sound any better. But fingers crossed, my flask in hand, let's go.
More totally rad 80s music coming up.
Triple X 80s.
Triple X 80s.
Okay, that was interesting. Just give me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second. Where's my radio DJ? There's my radio. There's the plugin. There's the teaser. Let me delete this thing. No, I'm sorry. I'm still not sold. Even after creating these custom elements, which I thought would make a difference, it's just the execution of that plugin. Now, I don't mean to be the downer dude, but I do like the idea of this, and I think it's a very cool feature of RadioDJ. But it's up to you to execute it properly, and it really needs a lot of finessing. And you should really take the time to do it if you want it to sound good. If you're curious about these custom tease transitions, you can take a listen.
Triple X 80s.
So I did a real quick one with a Triple X 80s whisper. Then here's one with just a sound effect. Here's one with a processed X voiceover and a sound effect. Because I'm going all in here, let's say we rerun this, okay, with just transition to the sound effect. Does this make it tighter? Does it make it more palatable? So now when you hear this, it's just going to run the sound effect transition. No voiceover, no coming up next, no Triple X 80s. And keep in mind, the Shaka Khan hook, that's the shortest of the bunch. That to me was really the only tolerable one. That really shows the importance of brevity with these hooks. Okay, let's do a take 3.
More totally rad 80s music coming up. Triple X 80s.
A little better. I think the volume's way too low on this sound effect. So let's see if I bump that up to even, 1.5. To spare you a bundle of time, I want to get right to a version of this that actually was pretty good. And how I got there was really tightening up all the cue points, from the song hooks to the open and close elements. But before we do that, just a couple highlights from some of my trials and tribulations along the way. I still feel the hook out point is too loose. Does not work for me. So you can hear just a little of the fun. Right on the fun. Before we hooked out right after she said fun completely, but now we're cutting into the un. One thing I'm curious about is adjusting the next start point on the transition sound effect even further back. Let's have this sound effect hit and then quickly bring on the next hook while continuing to play under it. That could provide for a much more integrated sound. And something else that's emerged, I think 5 songs is way too many. That is just painful. Let's see what 3 songs sounds like. Let's shuffle them up and then take this baby for another test drive. Okay, now check out the teaser with just the sound effect transitions, but all the cue points tightened up.
More totally rad 80s music coming up. Triple X 80s.
Yes, we've got a winner. That's the one. That actually has a great sound. Awesome momentum. It just hits. Boom, boom, boom. And that's exactly how you want your teaser to sound. That's not bad, but full disclosure, it took about 10 tries to get it to that point. I think just a good overall rule of thumb is to really walk back those next start points and your hook outro points of all the elements. After you come up with a sound you love, then let's get this into rotation. Maybe literally into your rotation. So I'll show you how you can fire off this teaser event within a rotation if you're not using a timed event to do it. So maybe after your first song of the hour plays, you hit them with this teaser, which will promote songs that are coming up within the next, 20 minutes. So that's one way to pull this off. Or what I'd probably do, because my station runs on rotations, maybe blow out the station jingle and replace it with the teaser event. And if you've seen any of my previous videos about adding events to a rotation, you know I'd never add one the traditional way, the way RadioDJ provides for adding a manual event right to your rotation, which would be a teaser, because it's clunky, it's junky, and it just doesn't have a good flow. So there is a much better way to do this, and I definitely invite you to watch this video right up there to the right. That'll show you my manual event hack. But let's say you are using that hack, and you'd slot this in right up here, and then it'll load up, it'll tease these songs that are coming up, and then fire off this song after it plays the teaser outro element. I really thought I put in a full day's work here and gave you the overview of this teaser plugin, but no, I can't leave you hanging with just one part of this plugin's functionality. There is a second option. God help us. Back to events, okay? Here's the teaser. Let's delete that. Okay. Now, when you're tiptoeing around the available plugins, you'll see the second teaser plugin option. Generate dry playlist preview. Woo! Who doesn't like a nice dry tease on a Friday night? Yeah, you hearing me? Mm-hmm. Train your gaze on this area of the playlist. I'm going to hit teaser event. Whammo bammo. So the dry option of the teaser strips away all the production elements. The teaser intro, the transitions, and the teaser outro. So all you're left with is a montage of the hooks. We can give this a listen. I mean, hey, we've come this far, right? Now, obviously, there's no way you'd run that as is. That's horrible. But here's an option. If you don't like the cluttered sound of all those other teaser elements, what you could do is load up the hooks, okay? Grab your teaser open, put that at the top, come down with your teaser outro, slam that baby in, and take it for a whirl.
More totally rad 80s music coming up. Triple X 80s.
That's a much cleaner approach. That's not half bad. You just have to figure out what best matches up with your overall sound, what fits the style of your station. If you're not totally comatose, you're probably picking up on the fact that I will not be using this plugin. But that's me, and my application would require setting hook points for thousands of songs. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't add enough value to my listeners to embark on that treacherous journey. Let's say you're on a CHR station, you're playing the hits, and you know within the first 20 minutes of every hour you have a couple hits. Well, possibly you only put the hook points on the hits that are coming up. And when you run the teaser close to the top of the hour, you're only showcasing the hottest hits of the day. That's much more manageable. So instead of programming thousands of songs, maybe initially you're just setting hook points for 20 to 30. But it's essentially you then get into the habit for every time you import a new song, you also add the hook points at that moment. And then this is very workable and actually has the potential to sound pretty good. Now, before you get any ideas that I'm a tune teasin hater, oh no, I do have an alternative to using this teaser plugin. And that you'll have to wait for. That's the subject of another video. And that right there is the definition of a tease. See how I brought that full circle? Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, you're too kind. Stop it.
Could somebody get me a broom? Oh my God, what a mess. The knowledge cannon has just exploded. Bits of Radio DJ 101 goodness all over the internet. Hopefully you got something out of this. You learned something new. It maybe sparked a curiosity of a different way that you could use Radio DJ to fulfill a need. And if you didn't, if you're like, well, why doesn't Radio DJ Dude tackle this subject? Well, there's really only one way you can let me know about that, and yeah, you know how to do it. Hire a skywriter. I mean, come on, lean in. Show me you care. No? I don't hear any planes yet. Okay, fine, if that's outside of your budget, just hit me up in the comments. What topic would you like to see a future Radio DJ 101 video on? I'm here for you. And since I am here for you, will you be here for me and share a like and subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And until our next radio rendezvous, keep rocking those mics all over the world.